Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bonfire Racing League. It's playoff time here for the Bonfire Premier Cup starting at Las Vegas. 125 laps is the race distance today on this mile-and-a-half racetrack, with ambient temperature being 77 degrees and track temperature sitting around 83 degrees. So nice, cool track, a lot of grip on this racetrack. But we'll have to see how the tires come into play here, because the last time I was here, it got really loose on old tires, especially on that right rear, just wearing off the right rear. Other than that, we are wrapping up qualifying with about 2 to go as it stands. Let's see if I can get my ticker going. With Dave Medina having pole position here. Beautiful facilities out here looking at the Nellis straightaway. As I assume they're doing the drivers meeting now. It is playoff time, so I don't have any way to display playoff drivers separately. But majority of the field are playoff drivers, with the exception of Josh Mayu, Thomas Fox, Richard Leclerc. I think those three are non-playoff drivers. Everybody else are. I think we're missing one, and that's one Ryan Twynham. As qualifying now is wrapping up. Should be able to get the results here shortly, and we do. Let's go over to there. Buddy Sally starting on pole as we switch over to night. Or Dave Medina starting on pole with Buddy Sally to his outside, just 0.03 of a second off. Then David Owens, Kyle Lynott, Gulf Coast teammates on the second row. Then Nick Mills, Brandon Shelton on that third row. Dennis Puckett and David Brenner on that fourth row, and then David Beal and Joe Volpis on the fifth row. Paul Ferdiani and then newcomer Josh Mayu rounding out that sixth row. And then we go on to Mark Dumont and Justin Malarkey, which I don't think that's right. No, that doesn't look right at all. For some reason, it's being funky. Kevin Kyle will be starting 13th. And then Thomas Pierce, 14th. Then it's Mark Dumont, Justin Malarkey on that 8th row. And then Thomas Fox and Richard Leclerc on that 9th row. Let's head down to the grid. Let's see the field lining up there. Everybody's getting their final chances to change a few things, brake bias, master cylinders, as we are just waiting on Kyle and that. There's our pole sitter, David Medina, out of Orlando, Florida, starting to roll off. There's no winning you're in for the Bonfire Racing Series, so it's going to be close on points with all these guys, and the lack of non-playoff drivers to add a few more points in there. So it's all going to be about where you finish in these next 3 races. It's being mistake-free and everything. Because if you have one incident, that can basically end your playoff run. As we come out of turn 4, that pace car is going to take a hard left turn down pit road. As Barney the flagman holding the green flag there, holding all these stock cars at bay. Now Dave Medina going to approach the Geico restart zone. Green flag up in the air. We're racing in Las Vegas. Equal start there for our front row as that bottom lane is semi organized. McMill's going to slide up behind Kyle and not there. As David Medina is going to lead lap 1 here. Further back, Paul Ferdiani in a group with Thomas Pierce, David Buell, and Joe Volpis. As David Owen is holding strong on that bottom lane. But I think Kyle not finding clear, they're going to get single filed out. Kyle not still holding strong, trying to get up to that second position. Sally tight on the corner exit there, near the wall. Saw it a little bit snap. It's now Nick Mills that's joining the party there, following Kyle and Knott. It's going to push David Owens back to that 5th position as we ride on board with him. As we do have a yellow. Not sure who the yellow is for. Maybe Richard Leclerc. Or Dennis Puckett. Dennis Puckett missing some pieces off that rear end. Let's see if we can go back and find it. There it is, Paul Ferniani. Right up into Paul Ferniani's lap. Well, we kind of saw that with David Brenner just a bit, so let's try and slow that down and digest it just a little bit. Dennis comes down and Brenner's on the apron and it spins Dennis Puckett out right up into Paul. Huge hit for a playoff driver. Both playoff drivers, the 44 and the 12, which will most likely end the 12's day. I think the 44 can keep going And the 22 can definitely keep going, but I think the 12 might be done for today, as he is sitting in his pit box. As we have green flag pit stops for a few Buddy Sally and Nick Mills and David Owens coming down pit road for fuel only, I would assume. No, we're getting some tire changes for the red line guys, as David Owens took fuel only. Paul getting that front end repaired. As I believe that's all the pit stops that are happening. See yellow flag still displayed out on the racetrack. Safety crews are cleaning up that mess in turn number 2, collecting that rear bumper cover off of Dennis Puckett's car. And so those pace car lights are off. We're going to go back green flag racing here. As Paul Ferdiani is still down pit road. And he's leaving now. That's going to send him behind the 8 ball. Dave Medina and Kyle Lynott are going to lead him back to green. Pace car pulls down off the pit road. As they approach the Geico restart zone, David Medina takes off. Really good start by our leader. David always really good at these restarts. Now Joe Volpes and David Buell are going at it. There they are there, side by side. As David Brenner gets into the outside wall just a little bit. So those cars further behind, trying to make their way through lap traffic. David Owens, one of those. He's got Josh Mayu right in front of him. As we're having a battle for the lead, Kyle Lynott trying to take the lead from Dave Medina. Looks like he's going to be able to do it here down on the apron. He'll lead that lap. David running that middle lane as he gets really close to the outside wall there, carrying a lot of speed. But he's going to shoot back down to the bottom and cover off, throw some dirty air on the front nose of Kyle Lynott. As Nick Mills is pushing his way through. Now he's just got Justin Malarkey in front of him. David Owens fell back just a little bit. Not sure what happened. Maybe he got into the wall. I have no idea. But he's sitting back there in the 15th position. Making a move on Kevin Kyle. Nick Mills still charging his way up, now battling with Brandon Shelton in that 2 car. So I think that 2 car, oh, he fell back just a little bit. Not sure what happened to him. It's Joe Volpes now is tracking down our leader, David Medina. He shoots to the bottom of the racetrack and get alongside of him, but I think David's going to have a run here off that middle lane. Thomas Pierce now up into that 3rd spot. Thomas having a real good run here. Oh, as Kyle Lynott was rubbing the quarter panel of Thomas Pierce. Thomas now going to shoot to the bottom of the racetrack. On board with Thomas. Oh, as we got a car in the crash, that's Mark Dumont. Able to save it, though. Have to go back and see what all transpired to make that happen. Just loose off corner number 4, down into the infield grass, keeping the wheels straight as he makes the transition back onto the banking. Great catch from the driver from Canada. As Thomas Pierce now taking the lead of this race. Oh, Thomas is burning up that right rear. He got loose out of corner number 4. That is not going to feel good. Those rear tires are hot, so he's got to be careful or he's going to spin out on corner exit here. Oh, as Dave Medina, I think, got shoved into the wall further back. Nick Mills charging his way back up front. He's up to the 6th position now, shoving Mark Dumont, trying to get a spot for 5th as he looks to the top lane. Joe Volpes up to the outside wall there. Kyle and Autumn to the outside wall as well. 3 wide going into corner number 3. Buddy Sally now up into the mix. Those 4 tires working out great for these red line guys. As now Nick Mills moves up into that 2nd position. He's going to set sail and try and set his eyes on that 46. Oh, David Brenner real loose further back out of corner number 2. He held on to it, though. Justin Malarkey moving his way on up in that 73 car. Got Buddy Sally right behind him. It's Kyle and I think was loose there. Coming out of corner number 4. Those tires are not working for him. I think Nick Mills got loose as well. Dave Medina now in that 2nd spot. Oh, as Joe Volpes into the outside wall again. Dave Medina closing in on the 46. Mark Dumont doing a good job in that 14. As now just half a second separates Dave Medina and Thomas Pierce, our leader. I think those tires are going out for old Thomas. We can just see David Medina. He catches as Thomas Pierce got loose there on corner exit. It's going to allow David Medina to gain more time on him. Starting to move up the racetrack. That car's really loose. David Medina going for the position. So now we just got, I think, maybe around 10 or 15 laps left to go before green flag pit stops. As now Buddy Sally gets into the back of the 14, got him loose. Nick Mills giving a shove to his old teammate, telling him to get up there. That back end is wiggling on that 46, but he's got to be smart here as he tries to make a move on Thomas. Thomas going to go to the top. Buddy's right there with him, though. But he's got to shoot 3 wide. As Dave Medina's kind of checked out, gap's already a second. Nick Mills gets into the back of Thomas Pierce. Nick Mills loose in the center of the corner. I thought that car was going around. He holds onto it, though. That car's still really loose. Nick's going to go to the bottom, 3 wide. Oh, as they touch Nick Mills, it spins out. There's going to be another yellow. Justin Malarkey off track to avoid. As that car bounces through the air. And he spins out too. Justin Malarkey not being able to hold on to that car. David Owens also crashing. So a lot of these guys may be losing a little bit of track position. But what a lucky break for Thomas Pierce, as that car was really loose for him. And this should cycle around to the first round of green flag pit stops. We'll let him come down pit road, and I'll try and get a driver interview with Buddy Sally, see how that car's handling, and we get an idea of how much fuel these cars can run on, as I think that's around the 40 mark. Just want to make sure. Hey, buddy, it's Jared in the Bonfire Racing Network booth. You got me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that was a good long green flag run. You had some old newer tires that helped you out there. But I could tell the cars around you, that right rear was getting pretty worn down. It looked like some chaos. But overall, it looked like your car was handling pretty well there.
Yeah, I had a goal to jump in the pits on that first caution because a few weeks ago I kind of got messed up at Bristol by not pitting on an early caution and it went green. And I didn't want that to happen this time, so took tires on that whenever I pit then, and I just wanted to take care of the tires to see if I could get back to the front and hopefully have something for Medina because he's pretty quick and consistent.
Yeah. So how long are these runs usually on a green flag? I'm guessing it's somewhere in the 40 mark.
About 45-ish, 46. So we should
Alrighty.
have one more stop here.
Alrighty, man. I'm gonna put you back in your spot. Good luck to you for the rest of the day.
All right, thank you.
That was his buddy Sally, driver of the number 21. So 45 laps, usually the distance on these fuel runs. So we're on lap 43 now. As I try and do some math calculations. Yeah, so buddy was right. They'll be good for one more stop, and that'll be it for green flag pit stops. Another lucky car, Paul Ferdiani, in that 44. Still got a little bit of front end damage, but we'll hopefully get to the tail end of the field. He's still on the lead lap. Thomas Pierce, I think, having to serve tail of the longest line there with a speeding penalty. So he's going to start further back than you would like to. Only one car out of this race, and it's Dennis Puckett there in the 12 after that early yellow on lap 7. But so far, we still got 17 cars on the racetrack and a lot of points still up for grabs. David Medina going to hit that Geico restart zone and take off with a great jump ahead of buddy Sally and Mark Dumont. And there it goes. Now we're on green. Dave Medina and buddy Sally off to a strong lead. Brandon Shelton wanting to make his way back up through the field. He's going to go to the outside of Josh Mayu. Thomas Pierce, another one of those cars that it's pretty fast takeoff speed as he's looking 3 wide. It's going to stay 2. Thomas having a really good run here at Las Vegas. Thomas Pierce now going to move to the top lane. As Kyle Anott shoots to the top of the racetrack. Thomas Pierce now making a move on Nick Mills. It's 46 car with a full head of steam. Thomas running the fastest lap times on the racetrack right now over everybody else around him. I think maybe Kevin Kyle's having his suspicions and thinking Jason Landry's in that car. Kyle Anott and Dave Medina going back and forth for the lead. That's going to allow Thomas Pierce to gain on both of these two. See if he can try and make a 3-wide move for the lead. Who knows? Oh, Thomas Pierce into the outside wall. Looked like a pretty strong hit. See how that car handles now. So we got 3 wide. Back there, Kyle Anott backed out of it. These red line cars are pretty strong today with Buddy Sally and Nick Mills. Buddy Sally going to be looking to the outside of Thomas Pierce. It's further back, Kevin Kyle and David Buell kind of racing in the second pack. That's Kevin Kyle's that 12th car in the playoffs. That last car in as it sits. Before bonus points and everything like that. Back up front, Thomas Pierce not wanting to give up. As he got loose there in corner number 2, he's going to slide up the racetrack, but he's going to have no momentum with him. See if he gets a front bumper from Nick Mills. No, Nick's just going to go for the pass. Thomas leaning on that right rear a little too much. He's got to cool the temps down. See the attitude of that car, just pitch over to the right side of the car. It's leaning on that right rear with all the banking. So we see it there again. Clipsy, oh, Mark Dumont getting into Nick Mills. Will that be another yellow? Nick Mills sitting backwards on the apron of the racetrack. Looks as though we stay green. So we'll have to go back and see what happened there. Kind of looked like Nick was starting to get loose. Mark was starting to come up off the exit of the corner, and they just got together. We'll have to play that again in a slower time frame. Here, as we go past the pylon, we can see the back end starting to step out there on the 88. The 14 starting to come up the racetrack as well for the exit of the corner, thinking that the 88 is going to clear them, and they just both get together. And then they both go spinning into the infield grass. Two really good playoff cars now stuck in the back of the field. Now we've got this freight train further back, led by Kyle and Knott. I think this is where we're going to see majority of the racing. Now Brandon Shelton getting into the mix. Oh, a little bump in there. I think maybe Brandon got a little loose. Oh, it's Kyle not real loose there out of corner number 4. Allow Justin Malarkey to get to his outside for the position. These guys walking the cars up the racetrack, trying to catch them. As we're about 13 laps left to go before green flag pit stops again. As we're 3/5 of the way through, with roughly around, I think, 50 laps left to go in this race. Still a lot can happen. Nick Mills under 1 lap after getting past in that slide. So he's going to be our first car 1 lap down in this race. If we were to get another yellow, he get the wave around, get back on the lead lap, and basically have another fighting chance to gain some more spots. But as it stands right now, this is not where he wants to be. Is Kyle not loose there on the bottom of the racetrack? David Buell's going to get ahead of him, as there's almost contact again between Justin Malarkey and Kyle Lynott. As David Owens now starting to make his way up into the top 10. Oh, into the wall goes David Owens, tight. See some front end damage there on the 11. As now Justin Malarkey and David Buell are starting to catch up here with Thomas Pierce, it looked like. Gap sitting at around 1.8. But the pit window is open for the end of the race, so we should see some green flag pit stops happening. It's open now. We'll close around lap 87, I would guess. Brandon Shelton falling back. As we got our first taker, David Buell, but he's spinning out on the bottom. I think he got it under control there. That was really close. Hopefully he doesn't get a penalty for that, for coming in too fast. But we do have our first pit stops of the day. Or I guess of this run, not the day. Have to see if anybody else comes down pit road. We're on board with David Owens. So far, no more takers. I think we could be seeing it now. Mark Dumont down pit road for his service of 4 tires and fuel. And Buddy Sally now down pit road. Saw a little bit of a lockup there from the 21. Hopefully he didn't go over. Dave Medina still out front. Could we see him coming down pit road? Yes, we do. Alfred Annie also down pit road right in front of the 9. But everybody else gonna go around him, as it looks like a riot of cars behind David Medina as they came out corner number 4. Richard Leclerc also down pit road in the 17. Justin Malarkey gonna lead some laps here and get some valuable bonus points. Thomas Pierce, Joe Volpis, and Thomas Fox down pit road. This Richard Leclerc is coming out of pit road now. I thought he was just sitting in pit road. Thomas overshot his box there as we were on board with him. Now Justin Malarkey coming down pit road, bringing Nick Mills and David Brenner with him, and Kyle Lynott and Kevin Kyle. So we just got 3 more cars that still need to make their pit stops. David Owens and Brandon Shelton coming down pit road. That just leaves Josh Mayu, who's coming down as well. So everybody taking their service here. Roughly around 35 laps left to go. It's going to allow Dave Medina to take back this lead. But Buddy Sally right behind him. David Buell now sitting in that 3rd spot after taking tires early. Kind of undercutted the guys around him. We'll see how that's going to work out for the 52. It's Paul Ferdinand. He's going to struggle to stay on the lead lap here. But he's going to finally go 1 lap down because of that front end damage. Just can't drive that car like he wants to. No real close battles on track. Maybe Kyle Lynott on David Owens, his teammate. Kevin Kyle back there as well. Buddy Sally closed in just a little bit to David Medina. David Medina still a 10th faster overall on lap time. Now Kevin Kyle closing in to Kyle Anat. Thomas Piers making some great lap time as he is running in that 4th position, trying to track down David Buell. That gap's 4.78 seconds ahead of him, with a lot of laps still to go. Richard Leclerc making moves, trying to get past Kyle Anat. He got past Kevin Kyle there fairly easy. I think maybe he's just using his stuff a little too early, try and get some track position. See if he can kind of put on some defense there if he's got the older worn down tires. As Kevin Kyle's losing spots to Thomas Fox and Josh Mayu. Mark Dumont's going to be under threat to going a lap down. Thomas Piers looking like the fastest guy on the racetrack right now, running a 29.9, while everybody else is in the 30s. Oh wait, that's his best lap time. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Not the fastest on track at the moment, but he's still in that 30.4 mark, like what David Owens is running. Justin Malarkey behind him. David Brenner running a 30.2. Josh Mayu looks like he went off the racetrack. Let's see what happened to him. Looks like he got loose off of turn number 4. Hit the apron right there and went for a ride, bouncing through the infield grass. A little bit of a shortcut. Not sure if that's a slowdown penalty, like if it is on road. He definitely didn't gain anything by going that way. Right now, the gap between Thomas Pierce and David Buell, 1.8, 1.7. It's closing in fast. As David Brenner gets into the wall a little bit behind him. This is the closest battle we have on the racetrack at the moment. As all three of these guys, the 46, the 73, and the 22, all trying to get up to the 52. A little bit bump from the 73. So they're going to try to make their way by Paul Ferdiani in the 44. Try and get up to David Buell with 13 laps left to go. Thomas a little loose there. He's going to probably slide out of corner number 2. No, he holds on to it. Oh, as Joe Volpus almost slid out of corner number 4. Thomas now a little loose off of 4. Stays off David Brenner, though. Able to hold on to it with about 10 to 9.5 to go. Can David Buell hold on for at least 9 more laps? I think it's going to be a tough battle. I think Justin Malarkey can get him in the end. His buddy Sally now closing the gap to our leader. Leader trying to pass Mark Dumont. But he's a quarter of a second behind. Can he get there? Justin Malarkey did get by David Buell. Buddy Sally, one of those guys that we talked to this morning, saying he's got to try and figure out some way to get by Dave Medina. The next lap car's about 10 seconds in front of them. I don't think they'll have any more lap traffic as Dave Medina is starting to kind of separate himself again. David Beal lost that spot to Justin Malarkey. Now Thomas Pierce has got his eyes on him again. It's Brandon Shelton getting his way on up in there. He's now in that 6th spot. It's going to be close between Buell and Pierce. Pierce about a 10th faster than him. But that gap is sitting at half a second. May come down to the last lap. It's down David Medina's gap is now 1 second. Oh, as David Buell got loose. Gonna lose so much momentum. That's gonna bring Thomas Pierce right behind him. Pierce now a little loose, but he holds on to it. Three and a half laps left to go. Or 2.5, probably. Thomas Pierce closing right up to him, but so is Brandon Shelton closing in. Brandon Shelton's about a 10th faster than Thomas, and Thomas about 2/10 faster than Buell. Coming to 1.5 to go. Dave Medina coming out of corner number 4. He's going to take the white flag. 1 more to go for David Medina at Las Vegas. Thomas Pierce now right behind David Buell as they go for the white. Dave Medina, though, out of corner number 4. He's going to see the checkered flag. All clear for Dave Medina. He's going to win here at Las Vegas. But does Thomas Pierce get by David Buell as they go through turns 3 and 4? What about Brandon Shelton? Does he have anything to the line? 3 wide. Thomas Pierce will get 4th. David Buell 5th. Brandon Shelton 6th. Followed by David Brenner, Joe Volpus, David Owens, and Kyle Lynott, your top 10. Kevin Kyle coming home 11th. Richard Leclerc, Thomas Fox, and Josh Mayu, our non-playoff drivers, coming in 12th, 13th, and 14th. Then Mark Dumont, Paul Ferdiani, Nick Mills, and Dennis Puckett, all races that they'll want to forget in this playoffs. As I believe that's going to put Ryan Twynham, Dennis Puckett, Nick Mills, and Paul Ferdiani, your first 4 down. But Dave Medina has everything to celebrate for here. I'm trying to get a good camera on it. What a way to open up the playoffs for David Medina. So he was trying to go down pit road, spun himself out. As he heads to victory lane, let's go ahead and look at our results. Dave Medina coming home with the win. Buddy Sally in second, just 1.2 seconds behind. Had a shot there near the end, just didn't have the tires to do it. Then it was Justin Malarkey and then Thomas Pearson, David Buell, your top five. Brandon Shelton coming to the line in sixth. Then it's David Brenner, Joe Volpes, David Owens, and Kyle Lynott. They're your top 10. Then Kevin Kyle, Richard Clare, Thomas Fox, Josh Mayu, Mark Dumont rounding out your top 15. Then Paul Ferniani, Nick Mills, and Dennis Puckett. That is how it will end here. As I've got some familiar faces in the booth with me, Buddy Sally coming home in that second place position. You had a shot there close to the end, but just didn't have the tires to do it. Let me see if I can go back here and get a replay going for interviews. As now I do. So, buddy, how was your race?
It was good. The car felt really, really good as long as you took care of the tires. It's unfortunate I didn't have. I think I went too early at the end and started running the high side because I was afraid Medina was going to get too big of a gap on me, and I wouldn't be able to make it up. Uh, I wasn't really wanting to move to the high side until about 10 to go, but I ended up going up there with 15 to go, and I think it was just a little too early and burned off my tires.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of these drivers were struggling with that right rear, but some knew how to handle it more than others. And you and David were the stars of the show, just able to hold on, save your tires, and move up through the field when you had to. You looked really good and strong out there. Coming home second in the playoffs is a good start for that 21 team, I'm assuming.
Actually, I don't think I'm in the playoffs because I don't have enough participation.
I think
So
you
I just
were. I think you were in the top 16, and there wasn't a lot of guys it's in there. So I think you are in the playoffs.
I don't know. I'll have to talk to Owens about it and see who all's in there because I have no idea. I was just racing today to race.
Well, yeah, I guess you didn't have any pressure on you, so that's always good for
No,
you.
absolutely.
Well, another guy that was really fast and kind of surprised me with how fast he was, Thomas Pierce, my bad. Had a really strong run, came home fourth, almost got to hold on third, and I think he had a speeding penalty there under that last yellow that kind of set you back, but you were able to move back up to the field, and then you overshot your box on that green flag stop.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened, yeah. Um I did a official race right before the race here, so I already had pretty good practice. My goal was to try to keep wearing down the tires equally on both sides, so I could always run both lines if needed, and that really worked well for me. So yeah,
There's a
coming home
couple,
fourth,
yeah,
pretty happy about it.
there's a couple times you got me nervous with that back end wiggling around on you. Some pretty good scares every once in a while, but you were able to hold on to it. So good job to you coming home fourth.
Yeah, I was always kind of on the limit of what my tires were allowing me to do. I finished the race with 66% on both sides at the rear.
Well, there you go. That's always pretty close on tire temps and tire wear overall.
Yeah, I kept pushing and it was worth it at the end. Um, I wasn't sure if I should try to pass 52 at the end there. I was thinking if I wreck everybody at the line, they're gonna be so mad at me. But I made it and we got three safe. So yeah, pretty happy about this race.
Yeah, that was quite a show coming to the line, and congrats again on that fourth place finish.
Yeah, thank you.
One guy that was able to push and not worry about anything was our race leader, David Medina. Now, David, did it throw you off a little bit running those 87s and now running this on the way the tire grips up?
No, fortunately it did not, but was able to block out that learning in the 87 car for this car. So fortunately it did not hurt me.
That's always a good thing. And there was a
Fun
couple
race,
times
boys.
there that you were running in that fifth spot. So, and then you were able to work your way back up through the field. How did the car feel within traffic? Like, was there any like dirty air involved?
Yeah, that was talking to my teammates prior to the race and just kind of letting them know about the dirty air, how I treat it, and not to burn up that right front, and when I'm in dirty air and stuff. And so I just kind of put that in practice and was able to get back through the field.
Well, congratulations once again on the win. I saw a little spin out there when you trying to come back to pit road. Those rear tires were a little bit hot, but I guess it was all worth it in the end. You're the one that rolled into victory lane and is pretty safe points wise at the start of this playoffs.
Yeah, that was definitely not my best burnout ever. Made contact with the wall right off the bat, but hopefully I'll get some more opportunities to practice that. But yeah, it's good points day for the playoffs. Been a while since I've been in victory lane, so good to get that monkey back off my back, and good to do it in a playoff run.
Well, once again, congratulations to you, and hopefully you're looking forward to Homestead and having another good points day there.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that track. Usually run pretty well, and just want to give a shout out to my teammates over at Team Volcom. Appreciate those guys and their inputs and stuff, and then to my sponsor, Cavo K.
Well, you heard it there early that we are heading to Homestead, Miami for the second round of the playoffs. So it's going to be some great action there, multi-group racing. But that's going to be next week here at the Bonfire Racing channel network. So make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. It helps us out. And we're going to have some action in the 87s here on the Bonfire Racing Network next Saturday at Daytona. Maybe some tempers flaring from previous events happening at Richmond, but we'll have to see then. But we'll catch you then on Saturday for the 87 Winston Cup Series from the Bonfire Racing Network.